You may remember the feeling of being a child and waiting for your parents to bring home a copy of Ocarina of Time. For me, it was a memory of absolute magic, and never in the 20+ years since have I felt this much anticipation for a game until Tears of the Kingdom. This may be the biggest gaming release of the year, and given how fast speedrunners broke its predecessor, it's only natural that they apply the same fine-tooth comb to this title, and the results so far have been shocking. Today, we'll be executing the iconic glitches of Breath of the Wild in Tears of the Kingdom, analyzing the results, and seeing what implications this could have for speedrunning the most anticipated Zelda game of the decade. I hope you enjoy today's video. Breath of the Wild had a lot of glitches. Actually, that's an understatement. It had a mountain of glitches, and several of them were useful to the speedrun. One controversial mechanic that had some players incredibly mad was the stamina meter, and a glitch was found to address this: whistle sprinting. It's relatively simple to perform. While moving, hold down on the D-pad to whistle, then mash the B button, and Link won't lose stamina. In fact, while you're doing this dash, you'll actually gain stamina, so you can deplete the meter while running, then do a whistle sprint to preserve speed while your stamina recharges. This obsoleted having to upgrade your stamina bar, so what happens if you try this in TOTK? Nothing. The developers patched whistle sprinting, and if you try to perform it now, you'll only deplete your stamina bar. But luckily, there are plenty of other glitches, so let's look at another staple: fall damage cancelling. No matter what height you fall from, you can always survive provided you have a weapon equipped. All you need to do is hold the throw button, and as you're about to hit the ground, let the throw proceed and unequip your weapon. For reasons only people that think the Triforce can be found in Ocarina of Time would know, you'll land on the ground without taking a single point of damage. In Breath of the Wild, this glitch is only used on the Great Plateau because you don't have access to the paraglider, which replaces this glitch as a fall damage canceller. So what happens when you try it in TOTK? Unfortunately, this was patched as well, so all you accomplish is falling to your death. But there was a glitch in Breath of the Wild this trick was paired with to get around the Great Plateau efficiently: bullet time bouncing. Bullet time bouncing, or BTB, is one of the premier glitches in Breath of the Wild, as they allow Link to get great vertical height and angular momentum by abusing the bullet time mechanic. They work by dropping onto an enemy while shield surfing. Then, before you make contact, you'll want to activate bullet time, and when you bounce on the enemy, you'll be sent flying. This trick does require some practice, as getting the angle correct is important. Otherwise, you'll be sent in a direction opposite of where you want to go. But all you need to do in TOTK is land on an enemy while shield surfing and activate bullet time. So let's see what happens. The shield interaction that Link had with enemies in Breath of the Wild has been patched in Tears of the Kingdom, so the bounce never happens for us to exploit in bullet time. So far, speedrunners are 0 for 3, but there is another glitch that exploits bullet time, and it doesn't require an enemy. I'm of course talking about wind bombs. Wind bombs are as Newtonian of a physics exploit as you can get. If you drop a remote bomb, then enter bullet time and drop another bomb, you can detonate the remote bomb and have its blast send the remaining bomb into Link, giving him a ton of speed in the direction the bomb was traveling when you drop bullet time. This is used extensively to get over small hills, perform quick jumps, skip the inside of shrines, and is a great option when you don't have an enemy to bounce off of. So what's its status in Tears of the Kingdom? Remote bombs aren't a mechanic, so this glitch is completely off the table. You might be thinking that you could do this with other types of explosives, but that's actually not the case. Remote bombs had the unique property of being dropped behind Link in BOTW, so the setup was incredibly easy. And all attempts at replicating the trick with bomb flowers or other explosives hasn't shown anything promising. This was likely patched just like the previous glitches, but luckily, there's one more movement glitch to investigate. Bowlift smuggling, or the BLSS as the variant we'll be looking at is known, is an intricate glitch that lets you soar across the skies of Hyrule with nothing more than an item you can pick up and a bow. By equipping a shield and bow while there's an item you can pick up, you can hold out your shield and press ZR plus A. If done correctly, Link will be holding the bomb while the bow is still out. Once in this state, if you find a ledge where Link does the step-up animation, you'll be pushed through the air by the item you're holding. The reason this works is because the step-up animation briefly ignores gravity while it's playing, and since you're interacting with the bomb, you get pushed through the air until you cancel the state by pressing B or opening a menu. So what do you think happens when you try this in TOTK? If you guessed they patched it, I regret to inform you that they indeed did, at least partially. The first part of the glitch, where you get the bow and item in your hand, looks to have been fixed, but it's unknown if the step-up animation has been affected. If another method for smuggling is discovered, this glitch could resurface in TOTK. Movement glitches aren't the only kind useful to speedrunners, and the first one they execute in BOTW is Scope Clip, a trick that gets you out of the Shrine of Resurrection very quickly by clipping through a wall. It works by having Link run into the corner while pointing the camera at a different angle. Once your direction and camera are correct, you'll open the Sheikah slate and clip through the wall. The reason this works is because of how the different angles interact when transitioning to the zoomed-in view of the Sheikah slate. So what about its functionality in TOTK? Once again, we have another contestant on the trick got patched, as this time, it appears as though they changed the number of frames it takes Link to turn when transitioning to the scope screen, which was a crucial part of why this worked in BOTW. But there's another trick that gets you through walls that aren't corners, and it uses a glitch called skew. First, you'll need to shield jump onto a slope to get into the skew state. Then, if you forward shield jump and unequip your shield, you can sometimes see a frame of animation where Link is tilted off at a weird angle. This is called skew, and the further the angle is offset, the better. Once in the skew state, you can do a precise setup and then forward shield jump. If done correctly, it will get you through a wall. The main application for this glitch is getting into the shrines on the Great Plateau without opening them. So the question is, will it work in Tears of the Kingdom? How about we make a bet? If you're unsubscribed, hit the subscribe button if you think it's been patched. And if you don't think it's been fixed, leave a comment of your favorite meme. Ready for the big reveal? This trick has been patched. The key element to setting up this trick was unequipping the shield while doing a shield jump to achieve skew. But in TOTK, they changed the window so that while you're shield jumping, you can't unequip the shield until the end of the animation, thus removing the glitch from the game. With all movement and out-of-bounds glitches patched, there are only a couple left to look at, but they're arguably the most powerful glitches for speedruns and casual playthroughs: inventory slot transfer and apparatus storage. Inventory slot transfer, or IST, is a glitch that allows you to duplicate items, meals, fairies, and even has the ability to mess with save prompts. It's a very technical under-the-hood style glitch that ends up affecting how the game counts your inventory, but there are a few key things to understanding it. You'll start by setting up the smuggling glitch, which we saw in the BLSS, then arrange the items you want to duplicate in a specific order in your inventory. After this initial setup, you have to drop some materials, then get Link to smuggle the remaining items in your inventory before talking to the shopkeeper. After some more smuggling and save loading, you'll eventually end up with a large quantity of items in your inventory. The explanation is quite technical, but you're essentially confusing the game's inventory counter, then having it sort the bogus items into your inventory. Obviously, this has uses for duplicating hard-to-find materials and meals that give bonuses, but not wanting anyone to get a free lunch. This was patched as well, since smuggling was removed completely, so all you achieve in Tears of the Kingdom is confusing a shopkeeper by dropping a bunch of items on the floor. The final glitch, apparatus storage, is a bit different. It requires going to a specific shrine, the Mayam Agana apparatus to be specific, then pressing ZL, L, and left stick when interacting with the unique motion control device inside of it. This gets you into a state where you can use the device while having the camera open, so naturally you'll take a picture, then go into your inventory. From here, you delete the picture and do a few more actions before loading the autosave from when you entered the shrine. Then repeat the setup from the beginning and finally exit to the overworld, where you're now in the apparatus storage state. If you use your paraglider, you'll fall to the ground rapidly, which confirms the state is active. But that's not all this glitch achieves. You'll be immune to elemental effects like cold, but more importantly, you can duplicate hearts and stamina at a statue by loading saves and activating apparatus storage multiple times to get a full set of hearts and stamina vessels. If you haven't recognized a pattern in this video yet, let me complete it for you. This glitch was patched as well. With no way of getting into the apparatus storage state currently being known in TOTK, every effort speedrunners made in the previous game has been thwarted in this one. Except for one. There was a single hope for speedrunners. It's very likely that developers at Nintendo watched speedruns and glitch hunting videos in Breath of the Wild, given that collectively they have received tens of millions of views. So it's no surprise that all of the major glitches would be removed from a sequel made using the same game engine. But there was one glitch that fell out of use in 2018 and never featured prominently in the speedrun: horse stamina glitch. By using a bow while mounted and holding ZL and ZR, you can press X then A while still holding ZL, then press A again to use your spurs. It won't appear as though the meter is full, but the charges are indeed there, and using this trick, you can get infinite horse stamina. However, this wouldn't last for long. In fact, it wouldn't survive beyond the game's initial launch, as a Day 1 patch was introduced that fixed even this obscure glitch. So only physical copy players that don't connect to the internet will be able to enjoy the only glitch that survived the migration from Breath of the Wild. Given that everything was patched, you may be thinking this will be a very vanilla speedrun, but that couldn't be further from the truth, as not only has an any % run been completed in just over an hour and a half, but a glitch that will save several minutes has already been found. Stay tuned, because I'll be exploring that in a future video. In the meantime, consider supporting me on Patreon if you like the content, as there's plenty more in the pipeline, and I'm currently offering a free month of Tier 2. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.